body roll. Hi there guys, and welcome back to the channel. So in today's episode we're going to be tackling what will hopefully be the last couple of jobs on the Jag before we put it through for its MOT retest. So the first thing that we're going to do is to replace the drop link pins on the rear anti-roll bar. They are both in a very poor condition, very rusty and with very perish rubbers. And then the minor job of replacing an indicator bulb in one of the rear lenses. So we'll get on with both of those jobs. Hopefully you guys will enjoy the video. Let's get straight into it. Okay, so now that we've got the car up in the air a little bit, we can actually see what's going on. So this is the anti-roll bar that runs across the back here, and it's joined to the two control arms on each corner by these drop link pins. So as you can see, they are a little bit rusty, but more worryingly, the rubbers on both of them are completely shot. They've totally perished, so they will need replacing. Now the idea of an anti-roll bar, what it's supposed to do, if you can imagine your car sort of in this flat position, when you start turning corners at speed sharply, the car is wanting to sort of do this rolling motion, and the idea of this anti-roll bar is to just sort of add additional stability and stiffness so that it minimises the amount of body roll that you have on a car when you are turning at speed. So probably the link pins themselves, because they are in a poor condition, it will mean that the anti-roll bar itself won't be doing as sufficient a job as it should be doing. So it looks as if you've got a nut and bolt assembly at the top here, nut on the bottom here, so we'll get those off and replace them with the ones that are in this package. So looking at these, we probably are going to have to use the existing nut and bolt that's on the car at the moment, just in this one, but obviously there's a new one there on the bottom. Right, let's get them fitted. We've got a 15mm nut on the end here. Let's see how easy this is to come off. It's turning, but it might be turning the bolt end with it. Looking at it. It is, but at least it's loose. That's a good sign. I think I need to just get a spanner on the end here. So it's a 13mm spanner on this end. There we go. So now like that. Right, let's try and get this off. Right, so I've got a 17mm on this one. Off she comes. So this is why I've left that in place, because it keeps the pin itself stationary whilst you're trying to take this lower nut off. Yeah, can definitely say that's had it. Nice and loose now. So hopefully this should come off without too much difficulty. And there we go. One completely knackered drop link pin. Okay, so that was a fairly straightforward job. Not too difficult. Right, so if we were, first of all, just get this new pin, get the nut and washer off, and we'll get this rubber off. Now, what we're supposed to do, if you can imagine this rubber sort of being inserted into this, so you've got the top and the bottom here of the rubber on either side of this sort of holder thing on the control arm. It's got to sort of sit in like that. Now, when you actually look at the size of the hole and place this rubber, there's just no way that I'm going to be able to push that through that hole. It's too fat. It's too fat to go through this hole. So what what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to just get a knife and just cut down the centre of the rubber and put the pieces top and bottom, so they're being like that. And then if you can imagine, when this pin is in place, it will trap both pieces of the rubber with this bit here and then the nut at the bottom when it's wound up, so it will then trap the rubbers up against that, and it should do just as good a job. So that's what I'm going to do next. Okay, so here's the pin. First rubber, push on like that, drop the pin into the control arm like so. Second rubber, push on at the bottom, and a washer, and then the nut. Put it on just by hand to begin with, just so that it's threaded up. Ratchet with a 17mm. Just tighten up just a little bit to begin with, just so that it's on as best as possible. Get the original bolt, feed it through the back until it comes straight through like so. Then the nut, screw it on. Voila! So now we'll just put everything on properly with spanners. I have to say, that's looking pretty good. Nice and secure. New pin with nice new rubbers. Right, let's repeat the exercise with this one. Go. Another one. So I've cut the rubber in half already. Ah! Job done. Fantastic. There's one, and there's two. Happy days. Right, let's get this thing on the ground. Still sat in the air. Everything looking okay for now. The only thing that is looking a little bit weird is that on the offside rear wheel, I can probably fit just about 3 fingers in the gap between the arch and the wheel, whereas on the near side it's a huge chasm of a gap. I can put my whole hand in and there's still room. It might be just that because it's been on the axle stands, it just needs to sort of settle a little bit, which hopefully it will do when we start moving the car, but we'll see what happens. Okay, so the only other job to do now is to replace the faulty indicator bulb. I can't remember which side it is, so I'll have to put them on and see which one it is. So I'm told that one of the rear indicator lights is emitting too much white light, so we'll get the hazard lights on and see which one it is. Yeah, it looks like it's this one on the top of the bulb. There's too much white. It's probably the orange coating on the bulb itself has probably flaked off, so we'll get access into the back of this lens and have a look. So it's just this little tab just to get the casing off the back, and then twist this little knob here, and out comes the cluster. Get it out, let's take it out. Yeah, you can actually see that the orange coating on the bulb has started to flake off, and that'll be why it's got white light coming through. So we'll put a new bulb in, and hopefully that should sort it out. I've just got the other cluster out as well, and this bulb isn't exactly much better either. They're both pretty poor, so I've got a couple in the garage, so we'll swap them both over. Couple of replacements, much better condition, so we'll put those in now. Yep, that looks a lot better. One. Sorted. It's looking pretty good. No white light in either of these now. I think just how much easier it is to take bulbs out and put new ones in. Why do they make it so difficult on new cars? You have to take everything off to get to a bulb. Whew. Quite a few fumes in that. Jesus. This thing really was running on empty. Right, let's go for a drive. So let's see if the Jag suspension actually does settle when we set off. Bit of a lumpy start, but I think it's because it's not been run very much and it's very hot as well today. But as you can see, look, the suspension definitely has settled. It's a lot lower now on that side, and it matches this side as well, so happy days. Let's go for a drive. So obviously what we're looking out for here is whether or not there's any knocks or rattles coming from the back when we've put those new pins on. So far that's feeling pretty good. Let's go down the bottom around the roundabout, but no obvious signs at the minute. Yeah, that's pretty good. I'm happy with that. Right, okay then guys, we'll wrap this one up then. So firstly I want to pass on some thanks to Ziggy A to Z, the eBay seller, for the parts that he sold to us on eBay. Massive thanks to you, mate. They've done the trick. Very reasonably priced. It was 17 quid delivered. Can't argue with that for both of them. So that's a really good result. So if you did like this video, guys, please do give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, give it a thumbs down. If you would like to put forward any comments on how you thought I've done the work today or anything else at all, please feel free to do so. If you'd like to check out my other social media platforms, just have a look at the description below. My email address is in there as well if you'd like to check that out. And of course, if you would like to help support the channel and support the journey, then just hit the subscribe button, at the end of the video. All the subscriptions that you guys give to us really does go a long way in helping support the channel and sort of boosts the profile and what have you. So if you'd like to do that, please feel free to do so. We'd love you to do it. Right, okay, so next task with this car then, I guess, is we put it through an MOT. I think everything else is sort of pretty much done. We've got one or two sort of niggly jobs, but nothing that warrants it being put through a test. So I think that's the next step. We'll get it through, hopefully it'll pass, and we'll get it back on the road again. Fingers crossed for that one. So until next time, guys, thanks ever so much for tuning in and giving us your continued support as ever, and we shall see you in the next episode. Take care of yourselves. See you later now. Cheers. Bye-bye.
That doesn't make sense.